Hey guys, welcome back. So I've done a lot of videos for you talking about how we start our horses off right and give them the confidence exercises before we move into riding them. But what do you do if you have one that's a little bit further along and has those holes in their foundation and maybe is not confident enough? I'm going to show you what I would do to go back and kind of screen where those areas are at and also help the horse build some more confidence. Now, this is a gunner on ice mare, and they sent her to us not only to learn some of the ranch riding, but also because she is very spooky in a lot of areas, okay? She's had a couple years of reining training on her now, so she should ride pretty well. But one of the first things I noticed when I brought her out here just to warm her up before I rode her is that she can't handle some of the most very basic things that we do, kind of the checklist that we run through on our colts or any horse that comes in for training to kind of figure out where they're at mentally. And if a horse doesn't have this confidence in you as a handler and even in small things around them, then it's much more difficult for them to have it in more difficult life scenarios that they may run into, or when you take them to shows and bigger things and a lot more pressure happens around them. So I'm going to show you again how I screen for some of those things and how we're going to help this mare work through it. And as this horse progresses, we're going to show you the updates along the way. Now, one thing that I do want to mention before we get into this is that there are some horses who are just way more worried, way more fractious, and you can't change them with any amount of training. You can make it better, you can help their mind, but you can't change it. So I'm not saying that this mare just has all these holes in her foundation, and that stuff hasn't been done for her, but I can tell there are some things that have not been done for this mare. So we're going to try and fill those holes and see if she could be a more confident mare in the end because of it. All right, so the first thing you're going to notice here is that if I slap this rope on the ground here, she's pretty worried about that, can't handle that pressure there. See, and the more I do it, the more accelerated her response becomes, okay? She's not settling into it. She really thinks something's gonna happen to her. Another thing you're gonna notice there is when I draw on this lead rope, she doesn't know how to get off the pressure and come toward me, okay? Those are two of the things I really want to see. I want my horses to be comfortable approaching me, and I also want them to be very light off the pressure on the face. So if I pull them in any situation, they need to be able to draw toward me, okay? That gives me the control over their feet and allows me to maintain some sort of connection even when things do go haywire, okay? Now, if your horse just checks out and they're like, nope, I'm not coming towards you, I'm not gonna respond to the halter because my anxiety is raised, you've got a big problem there, okay? So instead of adding all this pressure and starting to whip the rope on the ground right now, I'm gonna go in with a little bit more light pressure, and we're just gonna rub the stick and string on this horse like so, okay? And I wanna be able to move around her. This is good. This is all very good. You can see her ears and her eyes are watching me. Her head is elevated. She's not 100% comfortable with it. She's tolerating it, which is good. This is the start. Now she's gonna find out pretty soon that this is not a threat at all, but I want to start with the baby steps. You saw there when I brought my stick up toward the shoulder, she thought about stepping away from it. She didn't, but she thought about it. She's a little ticklish there, but we're gonna keep doing this until she gets a little bit more comfortable. Good job. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, like I always show you with my young ones, is I'm gonna walk away from her. I'm gonna whip this rope on the ground and I'm gonna have her follow it. She's very apprehensive about it. Do it a couple times and I'm gonna stop and just let her follow me. I'll do it again. She's wanting to leave. See if I can get her to release and come toward me just a little bit. There. Good job. Good. Now we'll stop and relax. I'm going to throw this over her back. Big response there. That's okay. Now she's like, you know, I think I'll leave. That's okay. See that? How this is just getting more and more accelerated, and she doesn't want to relax. I'm gonna stick with her here. You're okay, you're okay. And so right here, if your horse is backing up, I want them to move their feet forward somewhere, okay? I don't like a backup to be the response my horse has to this. Look at that reaction. Anytime energy is added, even in the slightest way, she jumps, she reacts so abruptly to it instead of moving away from it in a relaxed way. She doesn't think through the reactions that she has. It's okay. I'm just gonna kind of bump on her nose here, keep her front feet toward me, and I don't want her backing up. Toss that rope over her back and just wait until she relaxes. I'm gonna rub her with the stick here. Now we've got to stop. We've got a big breath. Good job. There you go, good job. All right, let's go go ahead and do that again. Good job. She's watching that rope on the other side. She's not super comfortable with it. Do it again. Good job. Now what's happening here is that she's kind of tolerating the movement, okay? But her feet are sort of locked up. She's mentally a little bit locked up. She thinks if she just kind of stays frozen here, then nothing bad will happen to her, okay? If I tried to move her again and then throw the rope over her back once again, we'd have an issue, okay? So let me see if I can get her feet moving here. Once again, you can see this horse's feet are locked up. She's not responding to pressure. There we go, and release. Get her feet going the direction I want them to. She's always looking away. She's looking for a way to escape. It's okay. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna throw that rope over her back and leave it there. Good job, and then rub her. Good job. Okay, throw that rope over her back and rub her. Good job. Okay, once again, move her feet. And what I'm trying to do here is to keep her mentally unlocked, keep those feet moving, bring the emotions up a little bit, and then bring them right back down so she learns how to regulate herself a little bit better, okay? I'm just gonna keep her nose tipped toward me here so that we don't get in a dangerous situation. There you go. And let her relax. Move her forward again. Good job, she's trotting. She thinks maybe speed's gonna help. Throw it over her back and rub her. Good job. There we go. I don't love the way that she's always pushing on my hand. That's another issue for me, another red flag, you might say. Another indicator that this horse lacks some of the pieces that she should have, or that I would probably install before getting on her, or definitely if I saw her lacking confidence in other areas, this is one area that I would want to fix. Okay, so now what I'm going to go in and do is get a little bit of control of that hip, because notice how anytime I put pressure on her, her whole body arcs toward me, okay? So her hip locks up and she looks to the outside like this. She gets in that really defensive pose and tightens up in her back, okay? What I want to do is kind of break this loose a little bit so she knows the answer is to find me, face up, there you go, and stay loose in the body. Take that stick and rub her a little bit. Good job. Go back toward that hip. And this isn't about pulling the nose toward me, it's about pushing the hip away. There you go. Good job. Just gentle taps, and then we accelerate that. She's thinking about it. There you go. Good job. When I start tapping on her, I just feel her whole body tighten completely. And she's like, again, if I lock down and freeze up, this might go away. And it's like, no, I want you to learn how to respond to pressure. It's okay there. Good job. Good girl. We're going to go ahead and do that again. There you go. Good job. Starting to relax a little bit. And a big part of this, and these little things that we do here, is getting the horse to be able to give you yes answers to the questions that you ask. So if you can break down little tiny things that allow them to say, oh, I know how to do that. Oh, yes, I can do that for you. You open them up mentally to be able to respond in a positive way to you instead of always locking up and saying no. There we go. Good job. There you go. Good job. And I used to be really big on the whole Pirelli thing of like crouching and barely moving my stick in the air and wanting the horse to move away from me. But I've really moved away from that a lot, because I want my horses to be able to take a little bit of pressure and to be comfortable with me moving around them without thinking every little thing I do means something and they need to move away from the air I breathe, you know. And I do feel like sometimes we can oversensitize horses, and I want horses to be able to take a little bit of pressure without freaking out about it when I start bumping on them and stuff. Good job. That's really nice. That was really beautiful. Good job. So much better. Okay, let's go ahead and do the other side. There's a quick lick and chew. Just moving away. See, like that. I don't like that. That is a reaction to me being on the side. That is not a response to me asking her to move her hip over. Her back is tight right here, her head is up, her ears are flicking back and forth. She's not really sure about what's happening. So I'm gonna go in, rub this stick on her hip, tap, 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 wait till she moves away from it. And what I want you to notice is the angle that I'm doing this at, and the fact that I'm not pulling her head toward me, but I have enough of a grip on this, a short enough rope that if something happened, if she took off that way, if she tried to kick me, I could easily leverage my weight, pull her nose around, and put myself in a safe spot again, okay? So that's what I want you to keep in mind. It's not short enough to pull her head around, to be pulling her head around while I'm doing this, but it is short enough that if I need to, I can take hold of this horse. There we go. Good job. Once again, rub the stick on her hip, tap, tap, tap. Wait till she moves away from that pressure. Apply a little more. There, she's starting to think about it. Good job. Good job. All right, little taps. Good job. There, that was the best one yet. Good girl. Now she's starting to get it. We're friends. Yeah, we are. Does that feel good? Good job. Howdy, girl. All right, we'll go ahead and do it again now. There we go. No brace, no worry. Just move the hip away without it being a big reaction. Let's go back to this side and see what's over here.